Shout out to Ben's studio on the lake. So most of this video here is going to be a voiceover. I'm basically doing real time carving in this piece. This is going to be what can I say? It's 1 o'clock in the morning here. I'm super tired. Well, I'm not that tired. I slept till 3 o'clock today. It was just kind of I got up at 7 in the morning, stayed up for a little bit, and I said, you know what? I'm taking a break today. And I slept most of the day. This is the day after working on this piece and finishing off the wizard and stuff like that. I was going pretty hard for the last 3 or 4 days, so it's good to take a break. What was I saying? This is a memorial piece for an old friend of mine. His name was Jeremy. It's going to go on the spirit trails. I don't really want to make it look like it's a memorial piece, but there's going to be I'll put like a little saying on it or something, and maybe with the initial J on it for his honor. No, that's not bird poo on the back of my jacket. It's that Gorilla Glue, that stuff that expands when it hits water. It looks like a big bird pooped on it. I got to scrape that off somehow. It's on there pretty good. I already tried to pick at it with my fingers, but I'm going to have to use a razor blade or something. This jacket is it's my comfort jacket for carving and beachcombing. It's a comfort jacket. You guys know you get something that's comfortable and you just don't, it's getting ripped and there's burn holes and stuff, but it's the comfort zone thing. So anyways, this is going to be, I said a castle, but it's going to be like kind of a tree house with a bunch of different roofs and peaks on it. I might make one piece look like a little castle, but I don't know. These memorial pieces are not the easiest to do, especially I got 2 of them to do right now. My friend Jeremy passed away. I'll talk more about that. Then another friend of mine. Jeremy was like a good friend growing up. We went our own ways, but he came back around. I'll talk more about it in a bit. Then another friend named Pat, another friend named Pat from the next town over, took his own life. Just had enough of it. So I want to do a piece. He was a tough bastard, man. He was one of the toughest dudes I knew. Nicest person. Everybody loved him, but just don't mess with him, or you'll find out how tough he is really quick. Jeremy was super popular in high school. All the girls loved him. We were headbangers, so we wore the Storm Rider jackets. We listened to Metallica before. When we listened to Metallica, nobody else knew who Metallica was. The general public, just the headbangers, the metalheads knew who Metallica was, and we were kind of frowned upon. We had the long hair and all that crap. Wore the red Mac, kind of like the jacket like I'm wearing now, but the Mac jacket, you put it inside the Storm Rider. And Jeremy was the coolest. He was I'd say he'd be the ringleader kind of. Not a violent guy. Never fought or didn't need to fight. He was just too cool. Just everybody liked him, got along with everybody. I guess as we all got older, we went our own ways. But I always kept on in contact with them. I'll tell this. This is kind of like a story time. I'll tell this. I got to be careful here with this voiceover to make sure that I don't, because it's in a few different pieces, the voiceover. But I'll tell a part about when we were in high school. Jeremy was with this girl named Melanie. She was one of my best friends, actually, and they lived together. I think I told this story before. They lived together, and we would always go to their place and party. They lived in a basement suite. Well, I guess, how can I say this without getting attacked or getting this video flagged by YouTube? They were in a basement suite. We were partying there one night, and 2 weeks before the night we were partying, I guess, or a week before, the weekend before, we were partying there. I guess the fellow that owned the house, the landlord, he lived upstairs, and I don't know. The rumor was he was cleaning his shotgun, and it went off, and well, it took his head off, or maybe he pulled the trigger himself. I'm not too sure, and I really never heard the end of it. But so, anyways, a couple days after I went over there, I seen the aftermath. I went upstairs and took a look where the incident happened, and it wasn't the nicest thing anybody could ever see. Like you'd see, I guess you'd see his skull and the brain splattered all over the wall with the hair still in it. Yeah, it was a mess. But so then, maybe a week or two after, I heard some weird noises. That's what I'm looking at right here. The weekend after that, we wanted to have some drinks at Melanie's place just to honor the guy. And I guess the neighbor came out. The neighbor was a teenager too. We were teenagers. He was a couple years older than me, older than us. I guess when we were all, I guess Melanie was at the house. I'm trying to remember. When Melanie was we were all at the house. We all had to go to the beer and wine store or the liquor store to get our booze. Melanie stayed there with another girl. And then the neighbor, so there was just two girls at the house. The neighbor, how this worked? The neighbor came over and he told Melanie that we shouldn't be drinking at the house on the weekend where the landlord just died. And he was being really mean to her, swore to her and stuff like that. And no, that's not right. That's not right. How does it work? Stand by. I got to remember this. I think this is how it went. So the neighbor went over to Melanie's house, and Jeremy and my other friends were at the liquor store, and I just showed up there. They were getting me my booze too, and they just called them and told them what to get me. So they were all at the liquor store getting the booze, and I showed up later. When I showed up there, Melanie was all crying, saying, the guy's neighbor's name was Dwayne. Dwayne just came over here screaming and yelling at me, saying that we shouldn't be here partying and this and that. So I said, oh yeah? And I never got along with Dwayne and his buddies. Like, they're older and they always thought they were tougher and this and that, blah, 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 blah. You know, like little town, little gossip, little wars, yada, yada, yada. So I went over there, knocked on his door. He answered the door. He had lived in a 2-level house. He answered the door. I guess his parents were out. He still lived with his parents. Answered the door. He started screaming and yelling at me. Said, what's your problem, Jordy? I says, you don't have any rights to go over there. And I'm not saying that I was the toughest guy out of our group of friends, but I was a scrapper growing up. And long story short, he swung at me to try and punch me. So I'm left-handed. Boom, I give him a hook. I drop him, and he gets up, then he comes at me again, and then I pin him down on the stairs, and I told him just to leave us alone, and I left. So then later that night, we're still drinking there, and this is why it doesn't make sense to me, but it was just me and Melanie at the house and another dude. His name was Aaron. He was the hippie kind of guy and not a fighter at all. Me, Melanie, and Aaron were in the house, and Jeremy and everybody, there was like 4 of them. They were gone again. I don't know why they had to leave. But all of a sudden, boom, you hear this loud boom. Dwayne had kicked in the door. Dwayne and 5 of his buddies come into they raid into Melanie's basement suite, start screaming and yelling. Dwayne comes right at me, swings. He didn't hit me. Boom, I hit him. He goes flying, and he lands on Melanie's dining room table. When he lands on the dining room table, he smashed it. Then I got jumped by 4 of his friends. They had me pinned down, and I had to do the turtle. And I remember that one time when I was turtling and I had my hands clenched up. One guy was trying to pry my hands apart. So another guy named Bob was a fairly tough guy. Bob was trying to boot me in the face with his cowboy boots, but they never got my arms open. But he wasn't strong enough to open up my arms to get the boots to my face. It's kind of funny. It was like 4 guys that jumped me, and they didn't even leave a mark on me. Melanie's screaming the whole time. I guess Aaron was just kind of hiding in a corner. There was a whole bunch of yelling. He was yelling to stop, stop, stop. But they didn't even really. The guys didn't even really. I don't even think they left a scratch on me or something. Maybe I had a bump above my eye or something. But so, anyways, that's that story. I think I told it before. But it was pretty sad what happened to the fellow up above. And I understood Dwayne's point, but because Dwayne was good friends with them, they were neighbors. But man, we're not there to do any damage. We were there to just like have a little memorial for he was a fisherman too, I believe. Have a memorial for the person that lost their life. So that's that story about Melanie and Jeremy. So as the years went on, we all have our own lives. Jeremy and Mel split up. And I don't think Jeremy ever Melanie left Jeremy because Jeremy just never, you know how when you grow up in high school and you're partying and just some people kind of slow down a bit and some people don't. Well, Jeremy did. He just kept on giving her. Yeah. He liked to drink. And other things as well. So as years went on, years later, after my injury, I moved back to Ladner with my mom passed away 2 years before I moved in with my stepdad. I had my injury. For all you that don't know, that I fell off a roof and landed on my head. Long story short, I got traumatic brain injury, TBI. But we won't talk about that. I'm still recovering from it every day. But anyway, so Jeremy knew when my parents would go out, we'd party. So where I live now is where I grew up. It's like a townhouse. It's a co-op. It's not a subsidized co-op. Like this co-op, we own the place. It's not like I can sell this place or rent it out. There's a big bird poo. It's not like I can sell this place or rent it out, but it's like it's my place. So my stepdad left it for me. He says he got a new girlfriend. She owned her own place. He says, I'm Jordy. I'm leaving. I don't know if you want to stay. You have to become a member. So we'll have to get you voted in as a member. Then you can stay. I said, I want to stay, man. This is where my mom passed away. I don't want to give this place up. So I stayed. So Jeremy knew that I was here, and he'd come and visit me throughout my recovery. Like my beginning of my recovery, I could hardly even walk. Anyways, Jeremy he just never left that party zone kind of thing. And I guess you could say he was living on the street. So he would come over here all drunk and stuff. I would let him, like at this point in my life, I'm done with the partying. I don't drink. I don't do anything. I smoke cigarettes and I drink coffee. I would let him keep stuff. I gotta watch this video to make sure I'm not doing the voiceover when I'm talking. I would let Jeremy keep his stuff in because he had nowhere to put his stuff. So I'd let him. You'd have to walk around town with the shopping buggy with all his stuff in there, and I didn't want Jeremy to be that guy. And there was another fellow that did it that just passed away too, and I might have to make a memorial piece for him as well. His good friends called me and asked me recently this week. Anyways, I would let Jeremy put his stuff in my carport in the closet. I said, you can keep your stuff in here, like your clothes and blankets and stuff like that, but I don't want any food in there. Don't have any food in there. I don't want to get rats shit around here. So, and I gave him half the closet. So I said, here's your half, here's my half. And like, try and get a place and don't let this carry on too long. But he started collecting food in there. And like, there would be like empty Mickey bottles and empty beer cans and shit in there. So I kind of had enough. And I told him that he had to take his stuff out of there. And it's hard for me to do because when you're my friend, you're my friend. It's not like some people see him with a walking around town with a shopping buggy. You think, oh, wow, look at the loser. Well, no, he has a drinking problem and he has a drug problem. He's not a loser. He's just got problems. He needs help. And that's the way I look at it. And I was the friend that tried to help him. So, long story short, he got his stuff, but I'd let him keep on coming by the house. I'd say, okay, Jeremy, because this is when I wouldn't lock my door. I says, if I'm not home, just go inside, sit in the living room, chill out, relax. Because Jeremy was not a thief, right? So, at one time I came home, he was in my front yard. And this is not me talking bad about Jeremy. Like I just said, he had problems. One time I came home, he was in my front yard, my little front yard, you know where my waterfall is. He was passed out, kind of convulsing. He had peed his pants. There was puke everywhere, and there was like 2 empty Mickey bottles lying there on the grass. So I think that's the end of this part of the voiceover, I think. But anyways, I don't call the cops. I just don't. It's a rule I've always had. It's a rule some of my friends have. I don't call the cops, or I don't call 911. So I had to get my stepdad to come over here. My stepdad says, Jordy, he might be dying. I have to call 911. So Bob called my stepdad's Bob Taggart. My stepdad had to call 911. The whole fire station, a bunch of cop cars and everything. It's not like I want them around here. Like, I'm not a criminal or anything like that anymore, but I don't want those people around here. But they had to come because I didn't know if Jeremy was going to die or not. It actually happened 2 times. A month later, I had to get my buddy Lawrence to come over because Jeremy was on the front grass doing the same thing, and Lawrence had to call 911, and the fire station and the fire truck, cop cars and everything were all around. I just went and hid. I didn't want to deal with it. Anyways, the first part of the voiceover's over here. Hopefully I save it so I don't have to repeat all this. Eagles are starting to come. They're starting to show up. So, this looked like a bigger log when I started, like thicker, but all the sapwood on this log was rotten. All right, let me show you a piece. Sapwood is the wood that retains water. So all of it was like this. More eagles screaming. You hear that? Anyways, this is going to be the first video of, this is a tribute piece to a good friend of mine from high school that just passed away, and a couple years ago I tried to help him out, but he passed away. So this is going to be like a castle house thing. I thought it's a beautiful day out here today. Why not come out and block it out? So it's always good to, you can see there's still a little bit of rot in there, right here. It's always good to, even when you're Dremel carving, remove the bad wood on the outside of the log, because you don't know what's on the inside in the good wood. See, I didn't know this crack was here. This crack goes right down here. It's going to go all up here. That's okay. This cedar feels pretty dry. It's still damp, but it feels dry and carvable compared to that last wizard I carved that was soaking wet cedar and a nightmare. Now, why I cut this out here like this, because if you look here, there's a crack. See this crack? This crack went all the way up here, all the way across, and it was pretty wide. So I thought this would be a good piece to make for Jeremy Gorlink's tribute piece, a castle house thing. Okay. So I don't know. I'm gonna draw some more roofs, and I might bring my hydraulic jack out here. Like, another thing about wood carving too, everybody, for the very beginners, I've always been struggling with 3-dimensional carvings, because, how can I explain this so you understand? You got to remove a lot of wood to get to where you want. So this piece is a lot smaller now than when I first, look how much thinner it is when I first started it. And I'm so used to 2D carving from Dremels and just wood spirits and stuff like that. You got to realize when you're doing full 3D carvings, you're removing a lot of wood. It's not sculpting, you're not gaining. Wood carving is removing. Duh. But the more you get into if you're a 2D carver and you're getting into 3D carvings, expect to remove a lot of wood.
and your piece gets smaller and smaller and smaller. It doesn't get bigger and bigger and bigger unless you add on. Comprende? Comprende. So this is going to go in the spirit trails. I got to do this. I got to do an eagle or an owl, and possibly a big wizard or a bench for 3 friends that just have passed away. Tribute pieces. I just do this for my friend's honor, for a charity. I don't make money for this. So obviously a roof here, a roof here, and a roof here. So I know that kids are going to be running around in the spirit trails. They're going to be jumping on things and breaking things. So we want to give this a big fascia board. What's that? See that wood moving inside there? Anyways, big fascia board, boom, boom. And this is just fantasy. You can do it whatever way you want to do it. So that's a fascia board. So I gotta get a carving saw, cut straight in, then remove the wood down here to get this to stick off. Then up here needs a fascia board too, but this one drops so low, so let's go like, let's put a fascia board here like this. Well, maybe it doesn't need to be so big. And down here, these are roofs too. So we'll separate that. Look at that, there's a centipede in there. That centipede, right, look at it. It lived through the whole carving. It lived through that. That thing deserves to live. I can't believe it. Can you believe it? It lived through there. It lived in the crack. Anyways, fascia board. These are just reference lines for me. Fascia board, and cut it off here, right where that crack is. All right. So now where do we want to put other roofs? Well, we got this crack here. Big crack here. So how can we, let's just put I don't know what kind of roof we'll put in here. Let's just put a roof down here and roof connecting to this roof here. And then this one we'll just put a roof here and then a roof down there. So I don't know if that works. Because you got, yeah, this will be a house in here and these can be roofs here. So I got to cut here, here. These roofs are only going to be like that far sticking out. This is based off Stephen Kenzora, professional chainsaw carver. He did a treehouse castle. This isn't going to be as crazy as his because he's got like hundreds of different roofs and windows and all that sort of stuff. This is just kind of a simpleton one of his. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna get my carving saw, I think. Maybe I'll just, yeah, I wanna, these are gonna be 2 separate buildings where this crack is, so I can cut deep in there. Cut deep in here and separate this roof from that roof. And if you look at the roofs, all the roofs don't have the same pitch. Like you can make this one like that, make it round. This is fantasy. This is just having fun. This will be a few videos. I'm just quickly blocking it outside here. And then I can, it's nice. It's like probably +2 right now in British Columbia, Canada. It was a little bit cold this morning, like -3 or something. But this first part, I'll be using this MS162 with the 12-inch steel carving bar. So is there fuel in here? I don't know. Let's look. No, we got to fuel her up. Obviously, there's not oil. I don't have normal carving. I don't have normal carving oil, so I got this Cornolia oil. Cornholia oil. Yes, you can use this. All right. So I'm going to have a break, and then I'm going to block out those first roofs. My back's kind of sore. I should bring out my hydraulic jack, but I think that's okay. The slug's super light now.
Yeah, I do remember talking about this on a earlier video because Robin in Salt Spring Island was super pissed off because the third time I came home, I was in the kitchen. I came home from a hard day of carving. I was in the kitchen. I heard a weird noise in the living room. I said, "What the hell is that?" There's Jeremy passed out on my couch with an empty 26er on my coffee table. He had passed out on my couch. He pissed and puked on my couch. So there's like piss. I had to throw the pee rolled off my couch onto the floor, onto this nice carpet that I had underneath my coffee table. So I had to throw away the carpet. And then I had to take my couch outside and leave it outside for a week and spray a bunch of, what's that, cleaning, like cleaning stuff just to get rid of the piss smell. But anyways, I put the couch upside down. I just poured a whole bunch of cleaning shit, like Lysol, on it. And then it's a nice leather couch I got from my cousin back in the day, but there's no pee stain on it anymore, pee smell, but it's the you see a stain where I poured the Lysol on it. There's a big brown thing that looks like a pee stain or something. Anyways, I don't even know if I need to tell that story, but he's still my friend. I think that was one of the last times I saw him. I took him, I woke him up, I dragged him. Actually, I'm not going to lie, I woke him up, took him outside, then I threw him on the ground. I had a fist in his face. I was going to hit him, but he just says, "Jordy, I've been hit too much. Please don't." So I didn't, obviously. He's my friend. Then I just kind of took him to the street and I told him not to come by anymore. I guess at one time after that, he came by and I told him, I says, "Jeremy, there's kids that live in here. You're not allowed here anymore. I've done my best to help you. There's nothing I can do to help you. I tried. Do never come by my place again. If you do, there's going to be big problems. Let's just leave it at that." And I took him over to the store, gave him $20. I said, "Go buy a sandwich or something. Do not come by my place again." And he left this file of like all his important things. He goes, "Can you hold on to this for me at least, please? I don't want to lose it." It was like old pictures of him and his family, pictures of him and little cards, birthday cards from his mom and from his grandma and stuff like that. So it was like a paper file. So I still have that here. Even though he was I'm not perfect. I've never been perfect in my life. I try my best to do good things, but sometimes, boy, oh boy, the way the world is, it's hard. So I got a call from Melanie 2 days before Christmas. I was in bed. I just was tired. I didn't want to talk to anybody, so I didn't answer her call. But then she called me a couple days after Christmas, and I answered it. I said, "What's up, Mel? How are you?" Blah, 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 blah. She still lives in the Ladner. She's married. She's got kids and stuff with another dude. Anyways, she told me that Jeremy passed away. So I'm like, "That's terrible. Well, at least he's in a better spot now." And doesn't have to do with... Jeremy had a lot of inner pain. Like, I know that when Mel broke up with him, he never really recovered too well from that. He did have another girlfriend he had a child with. So I never met his daughter, but the daughter's mom passed away too. 2 years prior. There's something 2 years prior to Jeremy or something. But I'm just saying, like I said earlier in this voiceover, if you're my friend, you're my friend. I don't care. The only way that I'll not try to help you is if like you're a pedophile or something. And I'll say one time, you need to get help big time, or just do never come near me again, or there's going to be problems. Other than that, like, a friend's a friend. And I didn't think he was a loser because he's walking around the streets with this shopping buggy. Actually, lots of people from Ladner would call me and say, "Man, was that Jeremy? I seen walking around town with the shopping buggy." I'm like, yeah, that's Jeremy. Anyways, it's always try to help your friends the best you can, but there comes a time where you just have to say, well, there's not much more that you can do. So I didn't. Jeremy passed out 8 months prior to. His parents didn't tell anybody. I guess he was in a hospice in Vancouver, and the parents didn't tell anybody he died. I'm not gonna say why they didn't tell anybody. It's not my business to say, and I really don't care if they watch this video. And I did say it. It's not his mom. It's his stepdad. The guy's always been an asshole. The stepdad's got 2 of his own boys. Always super nice to his own boys, but never nice to Jeremy. Yeah, you could say he's always giving Jeremy problems and this and that, but this stepdad was always just a goof to Jeremy. Never treated him good, and they kept his death a secret for 8 months. They didn't want anybody to know he was dead. And that really pisses me off because Max, Jeremy's stepdad, came over to my house a couple times. Well, Jeremy got an inheritance. He came over to my house a couple times saying he's worried about Jeremy spending his inheritance on booze. 2 times, this and that and this and that. You know, can you talk to Jeremy this? I'm worried about him spending the money. Yada, 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 yada. And then when I found out Jeremy died 8 months prior and they kept it a secret, I thought to myself, this is what I said to myself. I'm like, Max, who in the hell do you think you are? I am the one and only friend that tried to help Jeremy. And you keeping it a secret from me? You better hope I don't see you around town there, pal. Anyways, so I think there's no gravesite in Ladner. There's one in the next town over called Twassen. So they bought a stone with Jeremy's name on it, and they're gonna spread his ash. They didn't bury him; they burnt him. They're gonna spread his ashes around his stone. But I'm not going to that, because I don't want to be violent anymore in my life. But I got a few words I want to say to that Max. And I know it's not his mom. Melanie told me his mom's dealing with dementia or something like that. So this is the way for me to say Jeremy, because Jeremy would, I think a couple nights he had to sleep in the spirit trails. Jeremy, for all you that don't know, I have carvings in a town, in a little forest area in Ladner here. And Jeremy told me how much he loved the spirit trails and how much he loved my carvings and stuff like that. So this is my way to say I don't forget you, Jeremy. And I know what you did, passing out in my front yard, convulsing and peeing on my couch. I know that's not who you were as a person. I know it was the booze and the drugs. So I don't forget you, buddy. Jeremy's more, this memorial piece will be a little bit more sentimental to me than the other fellow that I got to do a memorial piece for. I was going to do an owl for Jeremy, but I changed my mind. I said, no, Jeremy liked to do mushrooms we liked to do the mushrooms when we were kids too. We'd go to the cow fields here in Ladner and go find the mushrooms and the cow turds. Yeah. So when I was carving this, I think about, that's why I didn't want to really talk making this video, because I'm too busy thinking about my past and Jeremy and Mel and stuff like that and things we did and the fun thing, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So half it's going to be like houses with different roofs, and the other half will be kind of like a mushroom themed village. It's all going to be one village together, no stairs or nothing. Then you got to remember, for the spirit trails, it's a marsh, so everything's sand and muddy in there in the wintertime. So when it rains, the taller trees will get big water on them. They'll drop it and it'll splash the mud up. So I don't really want to do anything too nice for the spirit trails, and it could get vandalized too. So I'm probably going to put a day or two maybe even a day doing details on the houses and stuff like that. But after working on the two wizards, see, my first wizard I did for myself, but then as soon as I posted it on Facebook, an old friend of mine says, how much? I told him how much. He goes, sold. I said, well, let's just keep it in the shop till springtime, and then I could put some good clear coats on it for you. So I said, well, I carved that wizard for myself, but I just sold it. Now I need to carve another one. So I quickly carved myself another wizard for myself, which is already home now. That's why I brought it home so quick. I'll put a clear coat on it this summer or spring. I'm thinking sea tall. And where I live, where I was saying that I lived in the co-op, is I'm thinking about, well, I've already talked about with some people here about, because I'm in a 4-bedroom. I don't need 4 bedrooms. My son's moving out again at the end of this month with his girlfriend. He's got a new girlfriend. He's jumped the gun and he's moving in with her that quick, but to each their own. I want to downsize to a 2-bedroom. No, these people that lived in, my parents helped build these places, if I didn't say that. They're in the first 6 people that decided to take it to the city to build these places. There's a fellow that has a wife, a child, and his mom lives with them, and they're in a 2-bedroom. So I asked him last week if he would want to swap for the 4-bedroom for my place, and he said he would love to. I talked to his mom. Like, they're like family to me. I've known them for 30 years. They've lived here forever too. So them getting the 4-bedroom place would be good for them, and then me getting the 2-bedroom place would be good for me. It's the 2-bedroom place is it's got a bigger yard right along the side. It's got like a wood deck there too. I would have to take apart my little water fountain thing that I built in my front yard, but it just gives me a reason to make a better one. But I gotta the co-op has to vote on it to see if we could swap, because there is people that are on the list for a 4-bedroom. So I don't know if we're just going to be able to swap like that. So I've been grandfathered in here. So the people with the 4-bedroom can't say, well, I want Jordy's place. No. If I can't get the 2-bedroom place that I want, it's right across the street from me. Actually, it's to the left. If I can't get that 2-bedroom place, then I don't want, because I can still look at the place where I grew up and think of my mom. And anyways, so that would be a super big move. I'd have to put like a sea can or something, like a 20-foot sea can in my driveway and slowly load it. And then at the end of the summer, just do the move or something. Because I'm downsizing, right? Because when my son moves out, that room's empty, and his room's right by the front door, so I can just put all my stuff by the front door. Basically, what I'm trying to say is there might be a lot less YouTube videos coming from me this summer, because I'll be working on that move. And we all know moves are expensive, so I will have to go back to work a lot more to put some money in the bank to do the move, because I'm going to get rid of my old couches and stuff like that, and might as well pay somebody to paint the place. I don't like painting houses myself, so get somebody to paint. Actually, Melanie, Jeremy's ex, the girl that I've talked about in this video, she has a painting company, so I'll probably talk to her about to paint the place. And so, because I bring my chainsaws home every night, and I just put them in my shoe room. So where will I put all my chainsaws and all my tools and stuff like that? Well, they're in my compressors are in my lots of my tools are in my front closet where I let Jeremy keep his stuff. But there's a big shed. They got like one of those big Costco sheds there. And I told them, I says, well, you guys are getting the better deal here. You guys are getting a 4-bedroom. You guys are upsizing and I'm downsizing. So I think you guys are getting a better deal. Besides the yard's better. So you guys should leave the shed. So they agreed to leave the shed. So I can put and it's like a good one. So I can lock all my chainsaws and stuff in there, and I can have like a little tool shop in there. So that'd be pretty neat. I could have bought one to put in my backyard here, but my neighbor that's attached to this unit, she's one of the original people that helped build these places, Diane. she's getting pretty older now. She's getting older, and she likes to sit in her backyard every day, all day in the summertime. She just sits out there, drinks her beer, does what she does, and that's what she does. I didn't want to put like one of those Costco plastic Rubbermaid sheds back out there, because I'd be working on tools. I'd probably even be carving out there, and I just don't want to make it bad for her. So that's why I never got one. So there you can see that one there is like a mushroom. The second one up. You got to remember too. Sorry, I got to remember for the spirit trails, I've had to meet the province people down there. Long story, I'm not going to get into it, but I'm not allowed to put anything with paint in there. Nothing on trees. Has to be all native wood. So this is Western red cedar, this piece. At the beginning of this video, you saw me. There was lots of rot on this. Actually, I talk about it. I don't need to talk about it in the voiceover. But when's this voiceover going to end? I hope soon. So, I am taking a break from carving for a couple days. I got a piece of that bugwood, the wormhole wood that I find on the beach. The big wormholes. I got a piece of that I found a month ago. It's sitting in front of me. It's a piece of red cedar. I'm surprised, actually, the worms. I think they're the, what are they called? The clam worms. It's the worms that sink ships, the old pirate ships and stuff, that would get infected with worms. And what am I doing here? Just blowing it off. Clean. Yeah, this is almost the end of this voiceover. So I'm sorry if that story time bothered anybody, but I just kind of wanted to get it off my chest. And this is a memorial piece from my old friend Jeremy, and it does mean a lot to me. So this memorial piece means the most out of the 3 that I'm going to be doing in the future.
Alright, so that was fun, besides cleaning up all the mess. Still a crack right here. Let's see. So, roof, building, roof. Then I made this side more rounder, because I'm going to do a voiceover, and I'm going to talk about my buddy Jeremy when I was doing the chainsaw carving. And I thought Jeremy had 2 sides to him, so one round side like a mushroom kind of thing, but this is all going to have shingles. All these are going to have shingles on them. Roof shingles. And there's a lot more work to do, but I'm super tired. And thanks everybody that made it to the end of this video, because I'm going to be talking about my buddy Jeremy and what this piece means to me. This will be the part 1. I'll probably do this in, I don't know how much. I got to take a few days off. I'm taking a couple days off.